What's up, everybody? This is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead. Today I'm going to talk to you about quite a few things packed into one video. I got a lot of information coming at you, but stay tuned. This video is essentially going to tie everything we discuss all together. This is going to be a great example of pretty much how we homestead, how we garden, and how we live our lives all in one shot. So this is going to be between intermediate to advanced, but I'm going to make it beginner friendly so that you folks could feel comfortable doing this. And like anything, you start off as a beginner and then you add more details and you expand on it and you get more advanced as you go, but you don't have to make it perfect. The point is to get it going, right? Get it going so you can get growing, folks. So when we first moved here, if you folks are anything like me and you need to garden, you need to garden. It's like an itch you gotta scratch, and you will find a way. And whether you have the time or the money or the resources, I always recommend, and again, I've touched base on this in a lot of videos, just start it, and then you can upgrade and add on as you go. So here we are, close to my house, but if you pay attention to my top 10 tips for beginner gardeners video, which you definitely should check out, I only grow close to my home if I know for sure that there's no toxins in that area. We don't have any cleaning agents or chemicals, and it's relatively pure, okay? And where we chose this is really great because we talk a lot in the other videos about stacking functions. We can talk about stacking functions today, folks, okay? And here, what I did was I essentially said, I need a little garden. I need a lot of garden. So our first garden we did was actually right out here. And I did not go to Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that to get expensive wood or plastic or metal or anything. Listen, first of all, always work with natural ingredients if you can. You know what I did, folks? I went right down to my creek bed down there and I got a bunch of large rocks and I made a border. There you go. It's going to hold in all my soil. That is the foundation for the border. Rocks. Okay, that's all you got to do, folks. Get a bunch of rocks, outline it, work your soil. This was barely tilled. We tilled it a little bit because I remember I recommend tilling 1 to 2 times, maybe just at least see what's under the ground, see if there's any garbage in there, toxins or plastic or anything like that. So it was cleared, it was clean, it was good. And we have kind of clay, loamy soil here. So we did a combination of, I guess you'd say, a version of back to Eden gardening, but I like to call this more of a lasagna gardening. So if you paid attention to the Let It Grow, Let It Grow, Let It Grow video, and again, we're tying it all together here, folks, I talked about composting in the earth and on the earth. So essentially, we layered our carbons and our nitrogens here. So I will get into that, but the clay loam, I covered it's first with wood chips. And I did the true Back to Eden garden method where the wood chips had the green and the brown leaves on it. So I got a good carbon nitrogen blend there off the jump. And you don't want to till that in. If you till it in, your wood chips, you don't mix your wood chips into the soil. It's a surface cover. If you till it in, all that carbon is going to leach all that nitrogen out of the surface of the soil, and your plants will suffer. So this is a south-facing area. It is shaded, as you can see, but we grew lots of great stuff here. Winter squash, cucumbers, lots of zucchini. I even have some carrots that kind of came in, and they were volunteers. I don't know if you folks can see that. Boom, boom. A couple of volunteer carrots that came through. Lots of beans, lots of fun stuff. And it worked very well in this limited sunlight. It was good for sprawling stuff. This would be a great area for pumpkins as well. And wood chips went on top. And we noticed that as soon as you put the wood chips down, the earthworms came in and they were eating all the matter. And they just went crazy for this. So I'm putting this bed to rest for the winter. If I had lots of green stuff on top, which I actually use for bedding for the animals and to feed them, I could have just chopped it and dropped it right there and left it right on top as a green mulch, as a green manure. Instead, what my son and I did, my soon-to-be 4-year-old son, so anyone could do this, folks. It's important to get the children involved off the bat, get them learning, get them going, get them growing. And it's simple. When I want to put this to sleep or I want to amend my soil, I have everything I need right here, folks, right here. So talk about stacking functions. This is really cool. So if you have an area where you process wood, now I was lucky enough, I was blessed to have access for free to some equipment to chip some wood that I know is organic wood. Be careful where you source your wood chips from. And there's another tip right there. Make sure it's clean and not sprayed, right? So I chipped the firewood and the wood on my own property, right? So now we have a wood stove. What happens when you process firewood? I'm very close to the downstairs entrance to my home, which has my wood stove. So I have a wood, here's, there's a larger amount behind me, but here's a small example. I process wood, whether it's with my hands or whether it's with saws, whatever I do right here. What happens when you process wood? You get bark, you get wood chips, you get sawdust. So when I need more wood chips, nice organic matter, bark, which is great. Remember, it's the whole thing. You don't want just the heart of the wood. You want all of the wood. Right there. I could literally just sweep or push or kick this right off. As far as the leaves, the carbon, I put that's all from the outside. Just raked it in. Took a few minutes. And again, my son helped me. And if I need nitrogen, all that green grass is all around. Just pull it, throw it on top. And you layer it. That's all you got to do, folks. This will be watered in and set to rest. Now you talk about watering. Wow, well, stacking functions. Above me, you see there's a deck. On that deck, I have a lot of my containers. When I water my containers up above, all the water that leaches through with all those nutrients and minerals comes right down and drips perfectly on this garden. So think of vertical and horizontal integration. Okay, we're touching base on a lot of things, but if I'm watering something above and I could save that water and let it drop down in the garden, I don't have to come down here and do anything. And especially since all that wood mulch is down there, the wood chips, because that just holds moisture in like a sponge. The whole point of this mulch is great, right? So actually my son helped me a lot today, and he's a good gardener. And what is the nitrogen we put down?
The grass.
The grass is the nitrogen. Very good. What is the carbon we put down?
The sticks and the leaves.
Very good job. High five. Awesome. The sticks and the leaves. And that's my number one helper right there. He's actually the job foreman. That's my son. He's amazing. So again, tying another thing together. We talked about parenting and how to get excitement and passion into your children. Get them into it. Nowadays they'd be like, oh, that's, why are you making the children work? It's called work ethic, development, character development. And this is fun. Do you have a whole bunch of fun? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you get to break up the sticks, right? That's always fun. And pull stuff out of the ground and throw leaves around and spend time outside and help daddy. He loves it, folks, and he's learning. You heard this 3-year-old telling you about carbon and nitrogen, and that sticks with them, folks. So I want you to understand, this is the real deal. This is how we live our lives, okay? And you could do a bigger mound. You could do a hugelkultur mound. Look that up. There's lots of great videos on that. And you know what? Honestly, if I wanted to really stack functions, I could just, if you live in the country, I'm not saying to do anything like this, but if you wanted to have all this carbon here, one thing I could do is I could stand up on my awesome deck up there. I could urinate off the side of my deck and provide nitrogenous waste, nitrogen-filled awesome urea, which look at your fertilizer, folks. That's what's in urea. I'm not saying. I mean, your urine does come out completely sterile as long as you don't have any chemicals or drugs or bad things in your system. You are clean and good to go. I recommend David the Good. He has a phenomenal channel, and he talks about composting everything and how to use urine like the ancestors have done, like a lot of modern folks are rediscovering. It's one of the best nitrogen sources known to man. I wouldn't recommend doing that on something you're going to pick and eat soon for obvious reasons. That would be something you want to just kind of work its way in and fertilize maybe on a situation like this. I don't know. Consider it. I don't know. Maybe I'm standing above on the deck above us and I'm having a morning coffee and I have those leftover coffee grinds, which is a great nitrogen source. I just sprinkle them on top so that all those wood chips and all that carbon is not leaching and robbing nitrogen from the soil itself. All right. And real deal. I mean, you see what was going on. So while my son was working hard and having fun, again, this only took like 20, 30 minutes altogether. And obviously he's going to be a little slower naturally because he's a baby essentially. In between that, what am I doing? Working out, getting a workout in with some bands right there. Seriously, getting a great workout in outside, stopping, directing, teaching, helping, supervising, and getting it done so I can grow more food next year all at the same time. That's a win, 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 win across the board, folks. Stack your functions. Think about your water. Where is it flowing? Besides swales, think vertically. Can you water something above and have it water something below? Keep your resources close. Besides the wood here, I said the fireplace. You can't see it because if you look very closely, you might be able to. Here, wood ash, which is great for adding lots of vitamins and minerals and potassium and phosphorus, to your soil. Wood ash is great, right? Obviously, you don't want to add too much. It can bring the acidity up too high. Again, pay attention to your details in your plants, like blueberries and stuff like that might want more acid. So, but either way, wood ash in small amounts is almost always going to benefit, in my opinion. I have my wood stove not far from me, also right here in the house behind me. So I have access to charcoal. I can make biochar there. Edible Acres is a great YouTube channel. He talks about how to safely make biochar. Again, do your research, do it at your own risk. Folks, everything, getting it done, one shot. And I leave things in the ground. I'm leaving those carrots in the ground so that those are going to tap into the ground, mine nutrients, and then I could either just shake the seeds off from the top and have a nice little carrot bed, or I could just let that stay in the ground and let it become food for the worms. They like to eat all that, right? And the roots, if anything, I had weeds growing in here, a few small weeds that somehow worked their way through the wood chip and through the mulch, but I let them stay in the ground because to keep your bacteria and your protozoa and your soil alive, you want roots in the ground because that's where they live and that's where they get the exudates and the sugars released from the plants. Again, we talked about this in the Let It Grow video, is that you're taking energy from the sun and putting it back into the earth. If it's barren and there's nothing in there, no roots, you're not sending anything into the earth. So you're not feeding that good microbiome, if you will. So leave them right in the ground or chop them and drop them and leave the roots in the ground at least, because that's the home. That's where the little enclaves of life are to keep your soil alive. So I know I went into a lot of things, folks, but I wanted to introduce some things to you because I'm going to do an individual video on stacking functions. I'm going to do an individual video on how to get your children involved in the garden. I'm going to do an individual video on how to, layer and do lasagna gardening and hugelkultur methods and cheap ways like getting some river or creek rocks or large rocks from wherever you've got them and just making a border. And again, this is a single border. I'm going to stack that and make that higher because the soil level is going to build up. All these things I touched on, I'm going to make individual videos. For you, those of you who are intermediate or advanced, you can take this information because you understand it already and run with it. I mean, if you look up, I've even got some, I don't know if you can really see this here, but hanging down here, that's from above. That's from my deck above. Those are blackberry plants just going so crazy that they're actually hanging off the side of my house. So nothing but love. I hope you folks got something out of this video. I had a lot I wanted to say. I hope I got most of it out, but this is an introduction to things to come in the future. And this is also a tie together many of the things we discussed already. And don't forget, folks, get those gains in. Come on, diet, exercise, working out. Right, baby? You like exercising? Yeah? Are you strong? How strong?
Too much strong.
You're too much strong. Yes, you are. All right, folks. Nothing but love. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me some feedback of, what you think. Again, the video is not the best as far as my angle here. You can't see that this is actually a very well-bordered garden bed. But let me know what you do. Affordable or cheap methods or improvised solutions to get something going. And, different things you like to use that are close to your gardens to just add an immense soil and get it going. We appreciate all the support from the bottom of our hearts. Hope you enjoy this beautiful autumn day. Take care.